If I were a political official, there are some things I would do, man. I'd have a neighbor day, where we find out who's in America. Because I feel like we don't know who's here. Kind of like roll call. Remember roll call when you were in the third grade or the seventh grade or whatever? Whenever they finally checked on who was attending and they would just call your name. I think they should do that. Just a day where, everybody meets their neighbor. Everybody go out in the street and let's see who lives around you. Let's get a head count. And if somebody doesn't come out in the street, then they're creepy as fuck, dude. And maybe we need to keep tabs on them, because if they don't want to be mingling a little bit, then that's, something's up, something's awry. That's kind of like a political thing that pops in my head sometimes. If that's even political, I don't even know. It's just something that I would think would be pretty neat. Outside of that, another issue that sits on my heart sometimes is education reform. I just don't feel like we teach children skills that can really help them, like how to interact with one another, how to know if your friend is having a tough time, how to cheer somebody up if they're not doing well, I mean, I know it sounds like kind of some pretty gay shit, but I mean, I feel like those are things we could be teaching kids, I don't really care if Lamont knows about social studies, but I do care if he understands that one of his friends is maybe getting abused at home or something and he can recognize it, I just feel like we could teach kids acceptance. We could teach kids, how to love one another. I just feel like we could do a little bit better job of education reform in that sense. Just teaching people how to care, I don't think you should be able to graduate the fifth grade until you're not racist. How about that? That'd be a great class, or until you realize what it means to be a contributing member of society, I just feel like there's a lot of things we could really be teaching children that's not factual, that's more instinctual and more, more of the heart, I guess. And that's just a thought of mine. I'm not trying to push my beliefs on anybody. I'm just, I guess, sharing whatever's in my brain. Another thing I've wondered is if people who have served in the military, if their vote shouldn't count for more than those who haven't. Like maybe their vote counts for 1.25 votes. And that might sound crazy to some people, but, I think it would certainly teach us all to have a different respect for our military. I mean, if somebody puts their ass on the line, I feel like they should get a little more, and maybe it's just they, get better packages when they're finished. But I just think that would be interesting if their vote counted for more than those of us who haven't served. And I haven't served. It's one thing I regret a lot. I mean, I wasted a few years of my life, surely, just probably spraying out and thinking about owning animals and, chasing trim around and, all kinds of just void fillers, where I probably could have sacrificed some of my time and got out there and into the bazooka trade, or whatever else they're doing, knife fighting, everything. So anyway, those are some things that popped into my head.